Hello everyone, very good evening. Welcome to Textbook Super Coaching for Bank and इंश्योरेंस एग्जाम्स और हमारे सुपर कोचिंग के इस लेक्चर में आप सबका स्वागत है दोस्तों इन टुडेज सेशन वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट सम इम्पोर्टेंट करंट अफेयर्स रिलेटेड एमसीक्यूज फॉर द सेबी एज वेल एज नाबार्ड एग्जाम। ये हमारा मेजर फोकस होगा आज के सेशन के अंदर। तो हम एवरी फ्राइडे 6 PM टू 6:30 PM ये एमसीक्यू सीरीज आपके लिए चलाते हैं, जहाँ पे कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट एमसीक्यू जो एग्जाम के लिए बहुत जरूरी होंगे, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रहेंगे। सेबी एज वेल एज नाबार्ड दोनों एग्जाम्स के हिसाब से ये करंट अफेयर्स एमसीक्यूज का ये सेशन आपके लिए है। इसमें जनरल करंट अफेयर्स के ऊपर हमारी बातचीत होती है, बड़े सिंपल से एमसीक्यूज हम डिस्कस करते हैं, सिंपल सी न्यूज के ऊपर हम बातचीत करते हैं, बट अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेरी क्रूशियल फॉर द एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। आगे बढ़ने से पहले, आज के सेशन को स्टार्ट करने से पहले एक बार कमेंट सेक्शन में डाल दीजिएगा, एम आई ऑडिबल टू ऑल और नॉट, सबको आवाज आ रही कि नहीं आ रही है, एक बार वो क्लियर कर दीजिएगा। एंड अदर देन दैट, इफ यू आर एट टू सब्सक्राइब अवर चैनल, अगर हमारे चैनल को आपने अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया होगा तो एक बार जल्दी से चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिएगा। दोस्तों, दिस इज अ टेलीग्राम ग्रुप। फ्रॉम दिस टेलीग्राम ग्रुप यू आर गोइंग टू गेट द नोट्स एज वेल एज इंफॉर्मेशन ऑफ आवर अपकमिंग सेशन। सारी जानकारी यहाँ पे मिल जाएगी और नोट्स भी यहाँ से आप डाउनलोड कर सकते हो। अदर देन दैट, नाबार्ड ग्रेड ए के लिए अगर आप प्रिपरेशन करना चाहते हो तो उसका हमारा फिलहाल बैच चल रहा है 4999 के अंदर। सेम बैच इज फॉर द सेबी, मींस अलग से बैच चल रहा है, वहां पे भी आप एनरोल कर सकते हो। अगर आपको नेक्स्ट ईयर आरबीआई, सेबी, नाबार्ड, ईएफआरडी ये सारे एग्जाम्स की प्रिपरेशन करनी होगी तो रेगुलेटरी बॉडी एग्जाम सुपर पैक अभी हमारे पास अवेलेबल है, जिसमें ऑफर चल रही है। PUSHPA के कूपन कोड यूज करना मत भूलिएगा, जिससे आपको 9299 के अंदर 12 प्लस 6 मंथ्स का सब्सक्रिप्शन अवेलेबल हो जाएगा। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द सेशन। आज के सेशन की शुरुआत करते हैं एंड द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज ऑन योर स्क्रीन। पहला सवाल आपकी स्क्रीन के ऊपर ये रहा, आंसर कर दीजिएगा। इंडिया CPI बेस्ड इन्फ्लेशन इन अक्टूबर वाज रिपोर्टेड एज, एवरी मंथ इन्फ्लेशन कैलकुलेशंस हमारे देश के अंदर होते हैं। सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द रीसेंट कैलकुलेशंस, रीसेंट रिटेल इन्फ्लेशन कैलकुलेशन, कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स कैलकुलेशन, व्हाट इज द इन्फ्लेशन इन इंडिया, भारत में इन्फ्लेशन क्या है, ये सवाल आपके सामने है। As per the recent calculations, because every month calculations होते हैं, मंथ ऑफ नवंबर कैलकुलेशंस ऑब्वियसली हमें दिसंबर में पता चलेंगे। CPI इन्फ्लेशन 0.25%। अकॉर्डिंग टू द recent calculations by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, तो ये मिनिस्ट्री कैलकुलेशंस करती है, तो अक्टूबर मंथ में इन्फ्लेशन वाज रियली वेरी लो, 0.25%। तो ऑफ कोर्स आने वाले दिसंबर में जो मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी देखने को मिलेगी उसके ऊपर इसका इम्पैक्ट बेशक 100% वी कैन सी। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऑन योर स्क्रीन, which policy change is cited in the document as the cause of decline in overall prices? So CPI inflation, the data of CPI inflation we saw 0.25%. So what is the main reason behind this decline of overall prices as per the official document given by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation? That is the question in front of you. Increase in repo rate, GST rate cut, import duty hike, minimum support price increase, or the fiscal stimulus. So what do you think? What can be the answer of this particular question? The answer of this question is basically GST rate cut, because recently on the 22nd of September, Government of India GST Council announced GST rate cut, and that GST rate cut is having huge impact on the reduction of inflation that is mentioned by government document. So as per the government document, GST rate cut, we have now new rates 5% and 18%. So that is one of the major factor behind this GST rate cut. I'll go to the next. Food inflation in October was minus 5.02, minus 2.28%, 1.54%, 0.25%, 2.10%. Food inflation is very much negative in the month of October, and the food inflation minus 5.02%, and that is the number. The month of September it was minus 2.8%. Now it is reduced to minus 5.02%. These numbers are also very important for the exam point of view. I'll move to the next question. How many successive months of negative food prices growth were recorded up to October? So how many successive months of negative food price growth when it comes to the Indian economy as per the consumer price index? 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, or the 12 months? Answer of this question is 5 months. 5 months successive negative food growth is seen. So answer of this question is C. I'll go to the next question. As per the document, suggests that lower inflation gives what policy flexibility? If there is a lower inflation in the economy, what kind of flexibility we get? What kind of flexibility RBI or government will get? That is a question in front of you. I'll show you this question in a different angle so that you can see all the options. As per the document of Government of India, lower inflation gives what policy flexibility? If there is lower inflation, the more flexibility to the accommodative stance. Okay, if inflation is very less, RBI or the Monetary Policy Committee can have more flexibility with the accommodative policy stance. That is a fact which is really very important for the exam point of view. So means in a coming monetary policy, RBI can reduce the repo rate, so that can be more helpful for the Reserve Bank of India. We'll move to the next. Combined net profit of public sector banks during April September exceeded. April to September, this is the first half of our financial year. So as per the recent document, public sector banks had combined net profit of how much in the first half of 2026? 50,000 crore, 75,000 crore, 93,000 crore, 1,62,000 crore, or 2,15,000 crore. How much combined net profit for the public sector banks in the first half of the financial year? 93,000 crore is the combined net profit for all 12 public sector banks, which was recently mentioned by the Finance Ministry. As per the recent document, 93,000 crore was the combined net profit for the Government of India, or for the public sector banks. Very sorry. I'll go to the next question. During the Finance Ministry's meeting with the PSB heads, which focus areas were highlighted? So Finance Ministry recently had the meeting with public sector banks, the MD CEOs. So which focus area was highlighted by the Finance Ministry so that there can be more growth, more development, more liquidity in the economy market or the financial market? So answer of this question is sustaining growth in the low cost deposits credit, especially for MSMEs and agriculture. So Finance Ministry asked public sector banks that there should be growth in the low cost deposits credits, especially for micro, small, medium enterprises and the agriculture. That should be the focus of public sector bank, and the policy should be created like that. That was mentioned by the Finance Ministry to the public sector banks. We'll go to the next question. Public sector banks reported return on assets of approximately, return on asset, ROA, another major factor. We saw combined net profit of 93,000 crore for the public sector banks. Now the question is return on asset for approximately 0.25%, 0.75%, 1.08%, 2.3%, 4.97%. What do you think? What can be the answer of this question? Answer is 1.08%. That is the return on asset mentioned by the document or by the Finance Ministry, the recent document published through PIB. Bad loans worth how much were taken over by the NARCL, National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited, bad bank. This is the concept of bad bank. So NARCL is of having a habit of taking NPS or the bad loans from the banks and recover them with the help of IDRCL. So bad loans worth how much were taken over by the NARCL? 50,000 crore, 1.62 lakh crore, 93,000 crore, 20,000 crore, or 331 million USD. Answer of this question is 1.62 lakh crore. That much amount of bad loans taken over by NARCL in the present, the first half of the financial year 2025, which is mentioned by the Government of India. Now, which portal or module was launched by the for the startup credit access? So recently, Government of India, recently Finance Ministry launched which new portal or module for startup credit access? So if startups requires loan for them, which kind of module or portal recently launched by the Finance Ministry? This is the question in front of you. UPI business portal, startup loan module on Janasamarth portal, BankNet only, NARCL lending portal, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana Startup Hub? Answer of this question is a startup module on Janasamarth portal. Janasamarth portal is the portal of finance ministry. All types of loan policies, all types of loan schemes are on Janasamarth portal. So what they did, they created a separate module for startups. If startups required credit, if startups required loan, so they created separate module on Janasamarth portal, which is created by the finance ministry. Yes, answer of this question is B. I'll go to the next question. PSB Manthan 2025 released during the meeting outline strategy for what target year? PSB Manthan 2025. It was a meeting which was organized by the Finance Ministry for the Public Sector Banks MD CEOs. So, what strategy for the strategy was launched for the target year, which target year is mentioned or confirmed by the government of India, by the finance ministry for the public sector banks. Answer of this question is 2047, and the strategy is about contributing to Vikasit Bharat at 2047. So PSB's vision for contributing to Vikasit Bharat. Nowadays, everything is going towards Vikasit Bharat. So 2047 was the time frame mentioned by the finance ministry in its document recently. Electronics India has empaneled by Bank of Maharashtra for what purpose? So Bank of Maharashtra, another public sector bank headquartered in Pune, they recently had tie-up with the Batronics India. So what purpose they had the tie-up? That is a question in front of you. Answer of this question is corporate business correspondent, CBC. Corporate business correspondent is the answer of this question. To increase the corporate client, to increase the corporate business, the Bank of Maharashtra recently had the agreement with Bengaluru-based Batronics, which will give a corporate business to the Bank of Maharashtra. I'll go to the next. Which bank led combined profit in quarter 2 financial year 26? Which banks led the combined profit? So all banks combined profit data is released recently. So which banks are having highest profitability when it comes to quarter 2 of financial 26? Answer of this question is public sector banks led by SBI. SBI is having highest profit margin, and all the public sector banks, means all 12 public sector banks, having highest profit margin in comparison with other banks working in India. We talked about the first half, 93,000 crore was a net profit. Now, quarter 2 26, what was the total combined profit for 12 public sector banks? We saw the number regarding the first half. First half was 93,000 crore was the profit margin. When it comes to second quarter, 49,456. So first half, 93,000 crore is a profit margin, a net profit margin, and the second quarter of the financial year 26, 49,456 crore profit margin is there. Such kind of numbers are important for the exam, so please keep that in mind. I'll go to the next question. Which PSB contributed near about 40% of the total PSB earnings in the quarter? Which public sector banks earn or contributed near about 40% of the total profit? So we saw that 93,000 was the first half, 49,000 is the second quarter. Now, out of that, 40% contribution is given by none other than State Bank of India. SBI is having highest contribution in the public sector bank's profitability. Next question. Which two PSBs reported decline in profit? Decline in profit means there is no loss, profit is there, but the profit margin declined in comparison with the last quarter. So which public sector bank having declined in the profit margin when it comes to the recent data presented by the government of India? And as per the recent data, Bank of Baroda and Union Bank of India experiencing decline in the profit margin. Profit is there, but decline is there. Minus 8% decline for the Bank of Baroda and 10% for the Union Bank of India, which is mentioned by the government document. I'll go to the next question. Which PSB recorded highest profit growth among the PSBs at 58%? Highest profit growth. If we talk about year-on-year profit growth, if we talk about quarter-on-quarter profit growth, the highest profit growth is to the Indian Overseas Bank. Look, maximum profit contribution is by SBI. But if we'll talk about year-on-year growth in the profit, so Indian Overseas Bank highest profit growth at 58%, and that is the biggest thing when it comes to these profit numbers. Now, the Platform was suggested for faster and more transparent resolution of stress asset. Which platform was recently news or was suggested by the government of India for faster, more transparent resolution of the stress asset? That is a question in front of you. These are all very recent questions. In the month of November, these things were in news. So I am conducting this MCQ session depending on the month of November data. And mostly questions are related to banking, finance, and economics. You can see that. Yes, BankNet. BankNet is the name of the portal, which was the name of the platform created by the Finance Ministry, was suggested by the Finance Ministry for the faster resolution. Next. PSB Manthan 25 is primarily focused on. We discussed about this. We talked about this just now. The strategy and vision for Vikasit Bharat 2047. That is the answer behind this Manthan 2025 organized by the Finance Ministry. We'll go to the next question. Which company partnered with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT capabilities into its app? For the first time, one Indian fintech company having tie-up with the ChatGPT or having tie-up with the OpenAI. So chat gpt will be on their platform. So when the customer is using this fintech app, they will get all the information from where they can spend, what things they can purchase, how to plan their travel, how to plan their holidays. So all that data they can get on the same platform. The chat gpt is having association recently with the phone pay. PhonePe is India's leading fintech company. They're having tie-up with OpenAI, and ChatGPT is for the first time is integrated on the PhonePe's platform. So that is a news in front of us. PhonePe integration aims to provide users assistance in which activity? Like I already mentioned, what kind of activities this Chat GPT will suggest to the PhonePe customers. So travel planning, shopping information queries, all these can be easily suggested by the PhonePe to their customers through this Chat GPT platform. Answer of this question is B. We'll go to the next question. Which Indian renewable company obtained $477 million financing package from the ADB? Asian Development Bank, headquartered in Manila, established in 1966, having 69 member countries. So recently, which Indian renewable company obtained a financing package of $477 million from the Asian Development Bank? Answer of this question is Renew Energy Global. Renew Energy is India's topmost renewable energy company. This company is such a big company that it is listed on NASDAQ. NASDAQ, which is a US share market, it is listed on the NASDAQ. So this company recently received 477 million package from the Asian Development Bank. Now this package is useful for which of the following? I will discuss that also. The 477 million package will support projects in which state? So Renew Energy got this 477 million package from the Asian Development Bank, and this package will be useful for the development of renewable energy projects in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Chandrababu Naidu is the minister of the state, and recently Andhra Pradesh had agreement with the Renew Energy, and for that purpose they got the loan from the Asian Development Bank. Next, Renew hybrid project includes how much battery energy storage? The project which got the funding recently, the project will be of 415 megawatt project. For that, they got the loan from the Asian Development Bank. We'll go to the next question. Which company launched a feature to convert loyalty points into digital gold? Recently, which company started a new feature? Which fintech company started a new feature on which loyalty points? So, what are the loyalty points you are going to get after transaction? You can convert those loyalty points into digital gold. That facility started by none other than Paytm. 197 Communication. 197 Communication is the mother company of Paytm, and they started this concept. Paytm recently got full approval from the RBI as a payment aggregator. So recently it was in news, and they created these loyalty points into the digital gold system. I'll go to the next. Which company is the first Indian renewable energy company to be listed on NASDAQ? NASDAQ is the US based stock market. So which Indian renewable company become the first company to get listed on the NASDAQ platform? Answer of this question is Renew Energy Global. B is the answer of this question. Linear Energy Global got the NASDAQ permission recently on their platform. So yes, the answer of this question is absolutely right. We'll go to the next question. Which corporate was recognized among the world's leading cooperative? Leading cooperative of the world. Recently, international ranking came for the cooperatives. So two Indian cooperatives are at the top. Amul first and IFCO at the second. IFCO is Indian government's fertilizer cooperative. So Amul and IFCO, they are the world's biggest cooperative as per the recent data given by the ICA ranking. So world's leading cooperative, first Amul and second is IFCO. Keep that in mind. We'll go to the next question. Which two organizations signed the contribution agreement to operationalize 1,000 crore venture capital fund for the space sector? So recently, venture capital fund was created separately for the space sector companies. So two institutions came together to create this venture capital fund for the space sector based startup companies. Answer of this question is Ion Space and SVCL. Ion Space is the Government of India's institution, Indian Space Promotion and Authorization Center, headquartered in Ahmedabad, and SVCL is a subsidiary of SEBI. These two institutions came together and they created 1,000 crore venture capital fund for the space sector, which is a big news because we have many companies in space sector. 300 plus startup companies right now working in India in the space sector. 300 plus startup companies, and to support those startup companies, Ion Space, Indian Space Promotion and Authorization Center, headquartered in Ahmedabad, created by Government of India, having tie-up with SVCL, and they created this venture capital fund recently, is a very important factor. SVCL is a fully owned subsidiary of which entity? Like I already mentioned, SVCL is the subsidiary of SEBI, Small Industrial Development Bank of India, headquartered in Lucknow. SEBI is the mother company of SVCL, and this SVCL having tie-up with the Ion Space for this 1,000 crore venture capital fund. Space Venture Capital Fund, after SEBI approval, aims primarily to finance. It's a very easy question. Of course, every venture capital fund requires permission from the Security Exchange Board of India. So this 1,000 crore venture capital fund, which was recently created, got the approval from the SEBI primarily to finance early stage and growth financing for the space startup, which is very easy. If we'll solve some questions, if we'll see this news, we can easily answer these questions. So yes, very easy and very comfortable to answer. Next question. New credit guarantee scheme for exporters approved by the Union Cabinet will provide. Recently, Government of India, Cabinet announced new credit guarantee scheme for the exporters approved by the Union Cabinet will provide. Of course, it will provide full credit protection for exporters, including MSMEs. This scheme is actually created for the export-oriented companies, especially export-oriented MSMEs. If MSMEs are into the export business, those companies are getting full credit protection under this new scheme created by the Government of India. New export promotion mission was announced with a budget of over. This new export promotion mission, which was launched by Government of India, is having total budget allocation of 5,000 crore, 10,000 crore, 25,000 crore, 50,000 crore, or 1 lakh crore. So what is the answer of this question? Export promotion mission is having budget allocation of 25,000 crore, which is mentioned by the Government of India. So 25,000 crore budget allocation is there. Export promotion mission aims to run 25-26 to which year? Export promotion mission aims to run from 25-26 to which year? Okay, so up to which year this scheme will be implemented? The scheme will be till 2030-31. 2030-31 scheme chalegi. It is mentioned by the Government of India, the Cabinet, in its recent appointment. Next. Export promotion mission is described as the consolidation of the export promotion mission, which was recently launched by our government. It is described as the consolidation of scattered export schemes into single unified scheme. Very easy question, not that difficult to answer. Anyone can answer who even not read this particular scheme. They can even answer it properly. Answer of this question is B. I'll go to the next question. Which country is ranked with India's UPI via NPCI international payments for cross-border remittances? So recently, in the month of November, Government of India's NPCI international payment had agreement with which country for the UPI payment? Total 8 countries are implementing this UPI facility of India, and recently we signed another agreement, and the country is Bahrain. With Bahrain, recently we signed the agreement for the cross-border remittances. So UPI and Bahrain's payment system now work together in tandem so that we can easily use the money transaction. Next. Partnership link UPI with which Bahrain payment network? Bahrain having this Fowry payment network. With this payment network, Bahrain, like India's UPI and Bahrain's Fowry Plus, they are going to work together for the money transaction. Huge Indian origin population is in these Middle Eastern countries. Any Middle Eastern countries, you will find huge Indian origin population in Bahrain also, and that's why this agreement is one of the very important agreement in the recent times. The question can be asked in the exam. Now, next question is regarding Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, 2.75 lakh crore deposits are crossed till October 22nd. Recently, Finance Ministry in its one of its report presented this data. So till October 22, 2.75 lakh crore deposited under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. This number is really very important. Question can be asked in the exam. Please keep that in mind. I'm going to conduct few more questions on this data of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, like all types of data presented by the government of India recently and which will be important for the exam. So I will conduct few more questions regarding that and then I will stop. Now another question, how many Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana accounts were there approximately? Like we saw the number, how much amount of deposit is there under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana account. So according to government's recent data, how many accounts were there approximately? The number is 56.85 crore accounts created under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. In 2014, we started this scheme. India's one of the topmost financial inclusion scheme. Total 56.85 crore accounts created and more than 2 lakh crore deposited in these accounts. It's a huge number. It's a huge success. Next. Which bank category held the largest share of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana deposits? Largest share of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana deposits is under which category of banks? Private banks, public sector banks, regional rural banks, cooperative banks, or the foreign banks? Of course, the answer of this question is very easy. Public sector banks. Public sector banks plays a vital role. So near about 2.15 lakh crore out of total Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana deposits are with the public sector banks. So almost 90% deposits held by the public sector banks under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Now this is very important. How many Jan Dhan Yojana accounts were inactive? How many accounts are inactive? Because we created the accounts, but most of the people are not using the accounts, and those accounts automatically become the inactive or inoperative. So if any account is not in use for continuous 2 years, we can call those accounts as the inactive accounts or inoperative accounts. So according to government's data, 13 crore out of 56 crore, 13 crore accounts are inactive. Okay, means no transactions from those accounts. So yes, the answer of this question is C. Very good. What percentage of inactive accounts completed KYC re-verification? Recently, RBI and Government of India asked all the banks go for the re-verification of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana accounts. So out of inactive accounts, how many percent of accounts go for or accounts are having KYC re-verification? Answer of this question is 5%. The 5% accounts completed the KYC re-verification by the September end. So answer of this question is B. Last question of the day. The last question. Which Indian corporate got the commemorative coin release related to its golden jubilee? The company is headquartered in Faridabad, was established on 7th of November 1975, and this company completed 50 years recently. So government of India released golden jubilee commemorative coin recently. answer of this question is NHPC Limited, National Hydropower Corporation, Government of India's company. This company completed 50 years, and recently government released 50 rupees commemorative coin for its golden jubilee. So these were a few questions for the today's session. Okay, I will stop here. Yes, guys, remember one thing. Right now, the offer is going on till the 30th of November. A regulatory body Super PAC exam offer, in which you can enroll into Super PAC with 9299, and coupon code will be PUSHP. Okay, so don't forget to enroll into this. You can get the separate batch for the NABARD as well as SEBI as well as RBI Grade B. But Super PAC will be very useful for you if you are preparing for the next year's exam. That's it from my side for the day. We'll see you in the next session. Tomorrow will be a separate session for the NABARD student, 6 to 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, 6 to 7. So keep that in mind, a separate session for the NABARD student focusing on month of September current affairs. And on Sunday, again 6 to 7 p.m., we'll discuss November month current affairs for you people. So there'll be back-to-back two sessions, Saturday and Sunday, 6 to 7 p.m. September and November month current affairs we are going to discuss. That's it, guys, from my side. We'll see you in the next session. Bye-bye. Take care.